Hello and welcome to the video. My name is Aries, and you probably just clicked on this because you want to learn how to do social media management for a living in the crypto industry. So this video is a recording of a live masterclass I did, which over 100 people attended. And I pretty much did my year and a half of experience into a 2-hour seminar going over all my wins, experience, knowledge, and pretty much packed in everything that I know, all the way from how to actually get clients for this sort of job, as well as how to actually fulfill it and get good results for them. So we're going to cover 5 main modules in this class. All of them are extremely important. So make sure you actually stick to the end and hit that subscribe button, because this class took me weeks to actually put together and record it. And so really hope you enjoy it. No more waiting around. We'll jump right into it, and I'll see you at there. Peace.
All right, awesome. So welcome to the Social Media Management Masterclass. This is going to be a crash course because obviously this is years of doing this, about 2 years now that I've been doing this, and we're going to try to condense it all down into a couple hours here. Everything around social media management as a service for Web3 projects. And so this is Web3 focused. We're going to cover doing the pretty much everything with social media management, the content creation, the engagement, and actually getting those clients as well. We'll start off with client acquisition. So module 1, we're going to cover how to get clients that'll actually pay you for managing their socials, because what's the point of learning these skills if you can't actually get paid for them? I think that's the big issue with a lot of courses, is they're going to teach you a skill, but selling it is a completely different animal, right? And so we're going to jump in first 4 methods that really stood out for me when it comes to getting clients. I think a lot of us here, majority of us came in through X, from me posting the masterclass on X, growing it through that. And so the way I got all of you guys in this class was the same way that I'll get clients as well for our social media management service. And so that's through posting content on X, creating a personal brand. But this method takes time. Okay, so I'm going to bring this method up first. It's not it's not going to be the same as outreach when we get into that, where you'll be able to send messages to clients, get them to respond, get clients in. It's going to be, you're going to create content over a long time, and eventually you're going to be getting rewards out of it. You're going to get clients that come to you. So it's not instant, but it attracts. But it also, the thing that people don't talk about as much is it helps you convert these clients. And so even if you are doing outreach, and if the account that's DMing them has like 50 followers, right? Compared to an account that has 10,000 followers, people they know following them, and like a really, really standout brand, they're going to chat with that person. There's already trust built between you guys, right? And so, and it's really great for, these people keep coming in, guys. It's great for building credibility and helping actually close the deal after they've already reached out to you. So a couple different content types that we can do, right? Because mainly we're going to attract them through content in our brand. So the best ones that I find is solving specific issues for potential clients. And so in this case, we're going to create content, and we are creating content and managing brands for projects. An example for content like this could be how to get more engagement on a certain subject or on X as a DeFi project. And so we can share results when we do this sort of post, right? And so we can share how I helped this company go to 10K followers a month. That can be our highlight in our content. That can be how we actually pull them in. Got 62 people. Guys, invite your friends. We're just getting started. Make sure that they all get in here. Yeah, so I'll keep going with it. There's a couple ways that we can do this. And so this first example is results. This is probably the best way to get clients, right? You're just going to show the results that you've gotten for previous clients, which is great, but not all of us are going to have those results already, right? And so there's a couple different other content types that I'll go through as well as we go through this. I'm kind of trying to freestyle it instead of speaking about everything I wrote down, but maybe it's better if I do that as well. But we're going to create a post highlighting their pain points, would be the other one, how to fix them, and then invite them to contact us if they need direct help. And so what this is going to look like for someone viewing your content, they're going to get value out of it. And if they need that specific help, they might reach out to you after seeing your content. And so projects are going to want the results that we give to others. And so they might also reach out if they see that as well. So there's a couple different types I'm going to share. One is pain-driven content. And so this is like, see here. So this is back to that first example where we're going to highlight a pain point, how to fix it, and then invite them to contact us if they actually need help doing it. So this is I'm pretty sure I got a couple projects that reached out directly through this. I pretty much have a hook. Web3 projects suck at building engaged communities. I talk about the issue here, the pain point. They have all these fake followers and they're not getting any likes, and it's not helping them get any revenue, right? And then I go through different tips of how they can solve it. So I'm not selling them, I'm just telling them how to fix it. They can attract the right people, establish memorable core brand values, all this sort of stuff that we're going to go through later in the lesson. And near the end, I pretty much say, if you want to implement a real community building into your marketing, you can reach out and I'll audit your current strategy for free. And so that's an example of pain-driven content where we're going to talk about the issue they have, help them solve it, and then we're going to invite them to let us help them solve it if they don't want to do it themselves, right? So I'm gonna have to add people in as we keep going here. Next one is, these are the three main content types that we'll go over specifically for getting clients out of your personal brand. Building your personal brand is a completely different subject. We're not going to cover that in this because it's a completely different animal. We're going to go over how you can actually attract clients through your personal brand. If you've already built one or if you're building one, you can incorporate this client to help attract them. Second one here is result driven stuff. So by results, what I was saying before, how I helped this company get this or whatnot, it doesn't have to be for someone, right? It can also be for yourself. And so if you're starting out and you don't have results for someone, you can show results for yourself. Like if you're building your personal brand, let's say you've grown it to like 1,000 followers in a couple months, you can say that here's the tips I used, here's whatever I did. And that's also result-driven content, and it can attract clients. So this is my pin post. Pretty much went over how I sold out our NFT collection, pretty bad market conditions, and all the marketing that we did. I pretty much highlighted everything that we went over. The post did really well, and it got a lot of people that reached out to me. I think like maybe 3 to 4 projects in the first 24 hours that reached out after seeing this post because I pretty much showed them the results that I got for myself. So I just went over everything we did to pretty much sell out the project, all the marketing we did. So the final one here, which I'm also going to include, this is a type of content we're going to use in the future for gaining followers, but it also works in this context for getting clients. And so it's by Marianne, if you guys know her. She did pretty much a short course, for founders with hacks and tips to build a community, to do retention. That's what she does. She does like community retention and brand loyalty. That's what her agency is all about. And the way that this works is, she highlights what they're going to get, reply with interested, or DM her for access, and then she's going to message everyone with a link pretty much to get access to this course. And so the way that this funnel is kind of built, she's going to send them free value, like this mini short course. They're going to get something out of it. And then later, or at the end of that free value piece, she's going to pretty much reach out and say, do you need help with this? Did you get out whatever you're trying to get out of it? And if they had any questions, and then she converts that into her client for herself. So these are the main 3 content types that we can do from our personal brand to help us attract clients, right? These are going to be the strongest ones. A tool that we're building, which is going to come out pretty soon, is Xcoach AI. And what you can actually do in this, because it's tailored around this sort of stuff, is you can help it'll create this exact sort of content for you. So it'll help you do lead content, it'll help you do result content, and it'll help you do the giveaways, like the value giveaways here, and pretty much write all the copy for you, tailored specifically towards creating content that makes projects want to DM you. So this tool is coming out very soon. It's been very delayed for the past couple months, and we're just finishing it up here. But yeah, this is something that you'll be able to use pretty much as a hack to get just to have it do it for you pretty much. So you're going to enter in whatever you want to talk about, the issue you're going to fix, or the giveaway you want to do, and then it's going to help you write copy for that. So another reason, the kind of final reason with building our own personal brand and why this counts is if they see we've been able to build our own community, grow a following, get engagement, it creates so much more trust that they can see that we can actually deliver results, right? So it's something you should constantly build, and the results are just going to compound. Like will you share the Notion doc somewhere after? Yes, I will share the Notion doc. We'll get to that at the end though. But yeah, you guys will be able to access all this after. And so guys, so what I was on last time, yeah, awesome. And so pretty much, yeah, we want to build our brand over time. It's really valuable, and it's going to help us actually close more clients. Because like if let's say a ghostwriter is reaching out to me and they get 3 likes every post, you know, and I'm getting so much more, why would I trust them with my brand if they can't even do their own brand? And so the same goes here. That's why it's really good to build your personal brand. You can show you actually know what you're doing. And so maybe that's the next lesson, and the next thing that we'll jump into after this in another masterclass would be building your personal brand, because that's completely different than social media management. Anyone have any questions about that first part? I feel like I'm moving too slow because there's a lot of sections here that we got to get through. But number 2, we'll jump into cold outreach here. So this is the second part. Personal branding, it's like clients are going to come to us through the content you see, but it's not guaranteed, right? You don't know if anyone's going to. Do you have to dox to build a brand? You don't. I used to have my face as my profile picture on my personal brand, but now I don't. I still post my pictures, but it's good if you want to build that face-to-face connection, but it's not necessary, right? You can do an NFT if you want as your profile picture. So creating content's great, but you can't always expect projects to reach out after you post. But cold outreach is never going to fail, because it's simple, it's effective when you're doing it right. And so really we're just going to chase down our clients, and with enough volume, if we're going to reach out to enough people, eventually we're going to find the people that are going to need our help, and the deal is always going to be closed in the follow-up. So if we use like X as a placeholder, and that's where we're going to be reaching out to people and finding clients, often it's actually going to take us going into their communities and to get them interested. And it's going to take us, you know, must you have a niche in social media management? You don't, but definitely, yeah, we'll share the docs after. I'll show you guys how we're going to go about that. Do you need a niche in social media management? You don't, but I would say if you're going to start, maybe it's better if you pick a niche and you pick a certain area that you want to start. So for example, you can be like, and the reason we'll get into that is when you're marketing for a DeFi project, it's going to be way different than marketing for a meme coin project. And so you're going to have to learn a specific niche before you start helping another one, because your same methods aren't going to work for another niche as well. So the most effective cold outreach method for social media management. Number 1, we're going to have to find our target audience. And so to do this, we're going to need to create a specific profile that we can help. And so what you're chatting with before, it can be a DeFi project that's averaging like 20 likes, let's say, and that's going to be the type of project that we're helping, and it's going to be in that specific niche. So this is the problem, and so we need to find the pain that this problem might cause. The problem's the averaging 20 likes, right? They're not getting any reach, they're not getting any new users off social media. The pain that this is going to cause, you know, is an inactive community, less reach, less revenue. Maybe there's less trust if their page isn't active, and we need to combine these two into our message when we're actually reaching out to them. And so when we're finding projects, by the way, like on X, you can pretty much just reach out directly through X like keywords. So if you're going to search, let's say we went onto X, we're going to search DeFi projects or DeFi projects on, I don't know, Base, for example. We're going to reach out to them. We'll be able to see the list of people that we actually need to reach out to. That's going to be probably one of the best ways to, just find people directly through keywords. There's a couple other methods, but we'll get into those afterwards. So you're going to reach out. This is some examples for cold outreach, some message scripts that you guys can do. And so you can just say, you know, hey project, or hey team, or if you're reaching out to the founder, use their name. I notice you guys, this is an example of a problem that we're seeing. So I notice you guys have 177K followers, but you're only averaging, you know, 20 to 25 likes a post. And we're kind of pointing out the issue here, right? They have a huge following, but likely they're all bots because they're only getting however many likes a post. Can I share a quick Loom video on a strategy I've used to forex the engagement for their specific niche projects organically, right? And so what we're doing here is we're pointing out, we're saying, hey, of course, we're pointing out the issue that we're seeing, and then we're not trying to sell them anything. We do social media management. Do you guys want to collaborate, or can we jump on a call? We're just going to ask them if we can. We're going to ask for their permission if we can share a video on how we did this for other projects. Number 2 here, and this is going to be pretty much the same method here. Hey, I noticed you guys have, let's say, 2K followers, but you're only averaging 11 likes a post. I think I can guarantee you 40 plus likes per post on average in the next 60 days, or I'll work for free until we hit it with my social community strategy. And so this is another example of, this one's a little bit more, I guess, if you're experienced, you know you can get results, or you've hit this sort of goal before. And the reason I would do outreach like this, for example, is because I've, taken someone from this many likes to that many likes. Their community has become that much more engaged in around a month's time. And so I'm able to guarantee that. But if you're starting out, maybe something like this is better. And yeah, you're just going to ask, can I send over my strategy? Regardless if we work together or not, it's going to give your team a ton of insight. And so it's short. We don't want to send a paragraph, and we also don't want to say who we are, really. They don't really care about who we are, right? They know that we're trying to sell them something. And they know that's kind of like the end goal that we're getting at. But so we just want to keep it really short. We want to talk about them and their problem, and we want to offer them direct value, which is going to be, in this case, a video strategy. And so we'll get into a little bit what that looks like. You don't have to offer a video strategy. You can do a text strategy as well. I simply like doing that because they see my face, they know who they're talking to, and it pretty much creates more trust there. So the question, I'm worried that cold outreach will get my account and its messages tagged as spam on X. Yeah, that can definitely happen. And so ways to avoid that. Don't send more than 50 messages an hour would be number 1. And also, don't send more than 15 messages an hour, and probably just do that a couple hours a day. You don't need to send more than like 50 to 100 a day spread out over time, as well as make sure you're customizing it a bit, right? And so in this case, we're changing the name of the project, we're changing the amount of followers and the likes that they're getting, depending on the issue that we see with the person we're talking to. And so, yeah, so customize it a bit. Don't do more than 15 to 20 an hour. So outreach is great, but the sale usually comes from the follow-up. And so 95% aren't going to answer the DMs, especially if they already have a social media management manager who's not doing the job right, and we need to chase them a little bit. I think I can see Victor sitting on the screen here. So there's 2 ways to do follow-up, right? We can do directly to the client, directly to the founder, which is either going to be in their Telegram community, we're going to go to Discord, and we're going to say, hey, reaching out here because I DM'd on X and I don't think the message came through. I want to share a quick 5-minute video on an audit I did for your account. I see you guys we're pretty much going to repeat our message to the founder and just ask them, if we can share it there because we don't think they received it over there. And depending on, not everyone's going to answer you in cold outreach, right? And that's cool. You'll be lucky if 2 to 3 people out of 100 are actually going to want to jump on a call with you or respond. That's the numbers you're going to get. It's going to increase if you're doing directly to the founder. I think we've seen, the best is going to be like 30% to 20% on if we're doing direct to founder outreach and we're doing follow-ups. And so that's, out of 100, 20 to 30 people are going to be slightly interested, maybe jump on a call, or at least answer you, right? And so it takes time doing direct to the founder, finding the community, joining it, but it works, right? And so it's better, if you're going to do it in this way, instead of just spamming as many people as you can, and you're probably just going to be wasting your time and get worse results. Number 2 here is going to be follow up with the X account. I'm going to slow down a little bit because I'm just speaking so much. I'm speaking so much that I'm losing my voice here. I'm gonna lose it by the end. We are, guys, we're barely started. We're not even on module 2 yet. How effective is sending cold DMs to the project, particular on X? It depends. And so if you're reaching out to startups, if you're reaching out to really small projects that haven't started yet, that aren't getting a lot of people reaching out to them, you'll have a better chance at getting a response through there. It also depends on how much you're trying to sell them on X. Like if you are reaching out just like, hey, I do social media, I'm trying to, do you want my service? You're not going to get any responses. Also depends on your personal brand. So if you have like a strong brand built, if there's like similar followers to people they're following, and you've like, you've built out a profile, you're gonna get a lot more responses, right? Because it's not gonna look like spam or like you're trying to sell them a scam or anything. Second one here is going to be follow up with the X account. And so one of my favorite lines, hope you guys don't all steal this, but have you guys given up trying to go on X? And people are going to be a little bit mad at you, but it feels like you're going to hurt their ego a little bit, and so they're usually going to respond off there. And if you're not getting any messages, then that can be a pretty good response to use. Is it better to reach out to projects on X or Telegram? It's best to do it on both, on every platform you can. That's going to just increase your chances. It really depends. So generally I would do X, and I would do direct to the founder on Telegram if they have Telegram, and if not, then Discord. But I'd say both, really. If you're trying to make yourself seen, put in the effort, that would definitely be the way to go. So we're talking about the video strategy here, and what this actually looks like. Submit these guys in here. The video strategy here. This would be a conversion gift, right? And so we want to get them interested before they even get on a call. That's what we're doing here. And so most people are never even going to get them on a call, as they know that they're going to be sold to, or before they even know if you can help them. And so they get sent a lot of these messages. Guys, you need to stand out in some sort of way. You need to put in a bit more effort, just because we're kind of past that time in Web3. It's a growing industry now, and so there's a lot of people offering the same thing. It's not, maybe 2021 you send these messages and you're going to get a ton of responses and people just going straight to pay you for your service. You need to show that you're able to do what you say you're going to do. And so we'll go into what this looks like. What's the main goal of our current social media strategy? Are you talking about personal brand or for the client? Must we share video as a strategy, or maybe a Notion file works? A Notion file works as well. That's a great way to go about it as well. You can do a Notion file bullet pointing the issues you see, giving them some tips and tricks and strategies that you think would help. And then if you also have like a track record and some stuff you can add in there to show that you know what you know, that would also help a ton. So why are we doing this conversion gift? And this can be the video, this can be the Notion page. Is if you're doing the video, they're going to see your face and create a connection before you even call them. They get to see our skills, and so they get to see that we actually see the issues. We're not just coming and saying, hey, I'll do this for you. We're saying, hey, I see you have this issue. Here's how you can fix it. And they're also going to see our strategy, which if it does align and they like the strategy, then they're definitely going to jump on the call. Or if they don't like it, you're going to save both your time. You don't have to jump on the call. They don't have to jump on it because they're not interested. So this can be two ways, right? This can be the Notion page that you want to send them over with and Notion page or video. You want to cover the strategies that they're missing. But before that, you want to cover what we're actually missing here. The pain points they're facing. So we want to go over very first to kind of loop them in and catch their attention, is capture exactly what they're missing. So, and be a little bit brutally honest with them. Be like, this content kind of sucks. Don't say it sucks. Sometimes I say it sucks, but you want to say what they're doing wrong and call them out on it and say, you're doing this wrong, and because of that, you have less likes. No one's engaging with your content. No one cares, and people don't like to hear that no one cares, but sometimes that's the hard truth. And then next you want to cover the strategies that they're actually missing, which is causing these pain points. And so you want to go into if there's certain types of content that they're missing, and this is something that honestly you just get better with over time. This isn't something that you're going to get overnight, but it's something, it's just you keep doing these sort of things and you'll get better and better at them. And that's just looking at more brands, seeing what's wrong and seeing the strategies that they're missing. Next, you want to kind of go over the state of the brand on X. And this is the same as the pain points, like what state they're in and, how bad they're doing. And then the final one, which we kind of already went over as well, final two, is the content that they're putting out right now and why it's not working. And the final piece is going to be those ideas and those strategies that they're going to benefit from. So the new content types that they might be missing out on. Maybe they're not engaging their community in the proper way. They're missing campaigns that they could do. You just had an idea pop up in your head of like a way that they could present their brand much better. Maybe they don't have a mascot or something, right? And so you want to kind of highlight all these points to show that you've actually thought about this and you put effort into this, and you know that you can help them in a way, right? So that's everything for the conversion gift and for the cold outreach. That's everything on cold outreach. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat there. We'll jump straight into through network, right? The other modules aren't as big as this, but this is going to be a good 2 hours, guys. So buckle in. We haven't even gotten to the social media management yet. Anyways, one of these last couple, we'll go over the last two pieces here, is going to be through your network. And so the larger your network is, the more deals that are going to get passed through you. And actually, I built my agency up quite a bit before I even opened my personal brand and before I started doing cold outreach. Just through, when you build your network, you're going to pretty much have people, whenever they think of social media management, they're going to think of you, and they're going to pass that person to you, or they're going to come to you directly for help. So number one is going to be in your DMs. So at some point, it's going to be clear what you do, and it's going to be a great way to indirectly offer services and get more clients. And so, yeah, what I was going on before is you want to connect with like 5 to 10 people a day. These can be founders, KOLs, other key players in the space, and keep the goal of connecting with how you can help that person. And it should not be like getting a job or wasting their time. Connect with them, offer suggestions, give them praise. Yeah, and at some point make it clear what you do as well and how you can help them, but don't, jump into their DMs and try to sell them. That's for cold outreach. It's not for networking. Two different things, right? So a great way to indirectly offer your services is to be like, just so you know, I do social media management for these sort of projects, mainly on X. Do you know anyone that might need help with this? We generally focus on projects that are struggling with organic engagement. And so this is a great way to say, do you know anyone that might need help with this? And if they need help with that, they're going to say, I'm interested in learning more. But you're not going to say, do you need help? So it's a great way at letting people know what you do without ruining your network and ruining that connection by now trying to sell them something. Because as soon as you do that, it turns from a friendship to like a transactional relationship. So that's the last thing we want to do. And if we can indirectly tell them that, it's the best way to go about it. So, and if they don't have anyone, next time someone needs what you offer, you'll be the first person they're going to think about, and they'll reach out to you or tell that person to contact you. That's something that happens quite a lot. So when they know what you do, and then someone's like, hey, I need help with social media, they're going to be like, yeah, you should go talk to this person. And that's pretty much how, creating this network is going to help people, pretty much bring deals straight to you. Second one's going to be in different communities. So actually, communities, when you're in the right ones, are a great place to find clients, especially if there's not a lot of other marketers in there, and if you're just an actual active person in the community. So like, let's say Telegram communities are a great place to start. When you be active, you provide support, you make it clear what you offer. But by that, I don't mean like spam in the group. This is what I do. If anyone needs it, come help me. Network with people in there. And then when someone in the group says we need help marketing, or we're looking for social media manager, other people in the group that you've connected with, if they see it before you, they're going to say like, yeah, reach out to this person. And that's happened many times where anyone's going to say, anyone does this in here, you can either reach out to them, hey, yes, I do this, and you'll be the first person to get that deal. Or if you've been connecting with other people in the group, they're going to say, yeah, you should chat with this person. So it's networking isn't the same as cold outreach. It's kind of like setting people that'll connect for you in a way. Third method, not available to everyone depending on where you live and if you're able to travel, or if it gets hosted a lot where you are, but IRL events. I don't think I've ever gone to a IRL event without walking away with like a bunch of leads for social media management, Maybe last token 2049 I didn't really, but that's because I was selling something else. But if you're good at talking to people and meeting new people, there's going to be endless projects that need marketing support. But also you're going to get these opportunities that you don't get anywhere else, and you're with people face to face. It's not like they can ignore you like they can when they're inside your DMs, right? So yeah, that's pretty much everything for building your network, why you should do it. Anyone have any questions, feel free to drop them. Number 4 here, and this is the last way that is really great to get clients, is job openings. And this is underlooked at. A lot of people don't do this. They'll focus on like outreach and everything else that we just chatted about. But when you do job openings, generally why these are good is because they're actively looking to fill the role. Unlike cold outreach, where you have to kind of like sell them on it, you have to be like, I think this is why you need it and whatnot. For job openings, they know they have an issue. They're looking for someone to fill it. And generally the salaries are going to be way higher, right? Like these people are going to pay full-time Western salaries to get this position filled. You get one of these jobs, you're making more than a lot of agencies in Web3, right? So great places to find these. You can go to LinkedIn, you can go to Rethinkable, whoever did the line, get rid of it. Web3 Career, Remote 3. These are all websites that you can jump on as well. For LinkedIn, head to the job section. So you'll see it up here when you jump in. Go to the search bar here and search like blockchain. Might be the best place to go because it's going to search kind of like the lead, the niche, and then pick areas. And so you can do like do anywhere in the US, in Canada, in Europe, Asia, really anywhere where there's going to be these companies that are paying high amounts to fill these positions full time. And so I would recommend, Europe and America are probably going to be the highest concentrations. And of course, all of them are going to speak English as well fully, unlike if you're going somewhere in Asia or other parts of the world. Some other job sites here. I think we mentioned this above. Yep. But these, you can go to all these, filter by jobs. Let's say social media manager. I'm going to show you guys right now how this is going to look. We go to social media manager. We're going to go to this site, for example. We're going to type in social media manager, or we can just see like if it's on here. I don't see it on here. Social media. We can search the social media tag, scroll down, and you guys can see this person's paying $54,000 to $62,000 a year in New York, but it's remote, to do social media management for this company for a gaming NFT project 2 days ago. Bunch of these, right? We have 20 to 30K, 50 to 90K. These jobs are mostly a waste of time. I have gotten clients through this. I've gotten corporate US clients that are paying $3,500 a month for you to post one post a day from this. So it's a waste of time until you get one, Tom. And they do work. They do definitely work depending on where you're looking. Depending on how you apply. So if you're working as an agency, don't apply as an agency, of course. Then they're looking for a person, right? And so in that case, where I've gotten maybe 2-3 clients through doing job posts. So it does work depending on how many you do. Reach out as an individual, and I don't think the majority of us in here anyways are running agencies, but reach out as an individual. And if you are working with a team, make that known after they're already interested in working with you, and tell them, you'll work still as an internal teammate. But if there's like tasks like doing engagement and smaller stuff that you can, I guess, delegate to someone, then just tell them you're going to do that and make it clear. But usually that's never an issue if you're kind of working one-on-one with them. My last social media management job, I posted 3 posts a day and got paid $100 a week, just 2 ecosystem updates and a meme or a shitpost. I mean, that's pretty good, but like for this, you can get paid much, much more. Seriously, it's better applying as an individual, totally. I think the majority of us in here are working as individuals anyways. So that's everything for module 1, guys. That is client acquisition. We went over all the main strategies. If you guys have questions before we jump on to the next one, drop them down below in the chat there, and we'll move on to module 2 here. Oh shoot, we're gonna move on to module 2, which is gonna be the onboarding process. And so this is going to be when you have the client that's interested, and it's time that we give them a proposal and walk them through the process. We're going to go over, creating a proposal. So This is still before they've hired you. This is part of the outreach in a sense. But yeah, creating a best site to get jobs for Reply Guy. We're not here for Reply Guys. We're doing social media management right now. I don't think honestly that there's a best site other than X for that. Is social media manager the same as social media marketer? I would say so. I'd say that's just fancy terms for the same thing. So we'll go over proposal next, guys. Means the social media manager needs to be very creative. That's right. Yeah, you need to have a lot of content ideas, and we'll go over some ways to get content ideas. But generally, yeah, you're creating content all yourself. There's different ways to do this and creative processes that we're going to go through in this when we go to actually delivering the work. So number one's proposal here. Before we sign the client, we need to get a proposal going before they start working with us. I've always had a problem right before completing the deal and payment about to be made. They stop replying and follow-up doesn't work anymore. How do you best follow up? Yeah, it really depends, right? If it's right before you're making the deal and whatnot, so if they're interested and then they suddenly lose interest, I think when you're at that stage, it's either going to be they were just being nice and they don't actually need the services, and near the end they're just like, I'm going to stop leading this person on, which sucks, but people do that. Other one would be they need it but not at this time, and so they're not ready to launch fully yet. They still need to raise money for it. Ask that, be like, hey, I noticed you haven't followed up. Are you not interested anymore, or is now not the right time and we should continue later? And they're going to be a little bit more open with you. They're going to, they're going to say, hey, yeah, actually, we're not interested, or yeah, sorry, but we might not need this at this time. Why don't Web3 projects believe in ads? There's no good tools, there's no good platforms for ads right now. Like X, I don't think you can post anything directly with tokens, but we don't have any Web3 native platform where running ads would be effective. And other platforms usually block anything to do with crypto. So it's pretty hard to run ads right now unless they're on crypto native platforms, which there's not a lot of. We don't have any, like there's Arena Social and stuff, but that's still the user bases are super small compared to any other place. Best sites to get jobs for social media manager. We went on over those above. You guys will get that in the replay as well. So it's LinkedIn, Rethinkable, Web3.career, and Remote3.co. Happened a few times to get on the third round of interviews and get ghosted. It happens. And honestly, the thing that sucks is they'll rather just ghost you if they don't want to work with you instead of telling you directly, and you're going to waste your time following them. What's the best way to not undercharge or overcharge as a social media manager, or what's a good price range to tell a client? I would say it just depends on your experience, and pricing's all a game in your head, really. It's people are going to charge way more than me. I'm going to charge way more than some people. It really depends on what you think you're worth. And so if you want to start at like $1,000 a month and do a really good job, then you should charge $1,500 next time. And you're worth $1,500 if you did a really good job at $1,000. $1,500, move up to $2,000, maybe $3,000, maybe $3,500, right? And so move up with your pricing. Don't just like say I'm going to charge a huge amount and you're on the call, you're shaking, you're like, I feel like I'm charging way too much. They're not going to be interested in it. You're not going to be worth that amount, and it's just going to show. People are going to feel that. And so I would just say move up in levels, do a good job at one price, and then charge more the next time. But I would start around 1,000, around 1,500 would be a good like beginner price. Unless the project's absolutely broke, you're probably not going to get paid that, which will happen sometimes. So you can even start at 500 if that's cool with you. So as a social media manager, you have no business with the project's token and user onboarding to their product, right? Just making sure they get those engagements or quality content. In a way, so engagement, likes, it's never really going to translate into more token buys or volume. Onboarding users into the product, in a way it does. You're going to work with either if they're running campaigns or if they're doing partnerships or if they need members into their community. You're going to be the one posting those campaigns on social media. posting the invites into the community. So in a way, you do tie into that. Marketing's a big funnel, and you're only working on the top level here. So they can't expect you to do all the marketing if you're just doing social media, because that's different from the community, it's different from the product and how you sell them. Shoot, guys, this is going to take much longer than I expected with all the questions. Someone new trying to apply for a SMM, social media management job, what's the best advice you can give? We just went through all that on how to do outreach. So that's everything we just went over on outreach. That's my advice. You'll see it in the recording as well. Also, I wanted to ask, how did you sell out an NFT project like yours? Where do we get engagement for those projects? I have a thread. My pinned thread goes over exactly how we sold it out. How do we get engagement for those projects? I would watch that thread. You'd kind of see everything that we did in that. It's my pinned tweet, yeah. So yeah, great. So as a social media manager, you can do a couple things. So you can just create content and post about it, or you can give them a holistic management solution, which you'll be able to charge more for. How does social media management directly support the overall goals of the business? How can I align my work to make the biggest impact? Yeah, really, it's going to do a bunch of different things. It depends. It can drive more direct revenue. It can drive, people jumping on a masterclass like this one. But if the project wants to host one, it's mainly for building trust, for bringing in new users, and to engage the current community and stay memorable. So mindshare. Every project needs mindshare, and what that looks like is just people are going to remember the project. They're going to come back to it because they remember it because they keep seeing their social media content pop up. So let's go over the two different main proposals that you should be offering. So if we're going to offer B, this is going to have to include the engagement, graphic design, content creation, content strategy, account management. Not all of you are going to be able to do all of that at once, especially graphic design. It's usually graphic design and you don't know any sort of marketing, social media management, or social media management well and you don't know any graphic design. It's a completely different process for creatives or not. And so that's something that either don't offer and work with the graphics team of the project, or find a friend that you can partner up with if you're going to start a team and work together where your friend can create the graphics and you're doing the actual social media management and design and copy. So on our proposals, all of these points have to be clear. And so we're going to go over, of course, the pricing, the KPIs, which is the key performance indicators. And so this is like, I'm going to get you, I'm going to post X amount of content, or if you believe you can get them a certain amount of engagement or impressions, you can offer that. How you're going to work with them. So how you're going to actually contribute directly in the team, and how many team calls you're going to do, how you're going to share them content, what graphics will look like if you're offering graphics. If not, leave it out. How much content you want to create, how much engagement you do or how you'll do engagement, and then what type of content that you're going to make for them. So this is everything that we want to cover in our proposals. The idea is here, we want to leave them with 0 questions so they know exactly what to expect. And you're going to save yourself from over-promising or under-delivering, which is a big one. Best being where you can under-promise and then over-deliver. At the same time, sometimes you have to flex your results to get them excited to work with you so you can actually get them to sign the contract and pay you. But then you have to live up to that, right? So we can present our proposals using Notion. Exactly what I'm doing right now. It's flexible. You can share it on a website during and after meetings, and it's easy to edit and design, and you can embed links and stuff, right? So if I'm going to embed a link, I'll show you an example of a proposal, right? The best way to do proposals is you're going to do it directly over the call. So you can walk through everything that you're going to give them, all of these points that we talked about, and then you're going to be able to tell them the price on the chat, get them interested or not. A lot of the times, if it's bigger companies, you'll need to hear, they might have to talk with the team on this, but they might express their interest. Or if it's startups, you generally want to close it on the call and you want to get them, okay, let's go ahead with this. Any questions they're missing. If they say, I need to think about it, it's either they don't have the money for it, they still don't think it can help them, or they're unsure. They still have questions that haven't been asked. And so make sure when someone says I need to think about it, or I'll sit on it, it's not that they actually need to think about it. There's no thinking to happen. There's questions they're not sure about that they haven't asked. The pricing's not right and they don't want to say that they can't afford it. Or it's just, yeah, like they need to talk with the team if it's a bigger company. And so that's something when we're on a sales call and someone says I need to think about it. This is more rejection handling in a way, which we're talking about right now. You need to kind of make that clear to them and be like, are you actually thinking about this, or do you have questions that you still have, or is the pricing too much? It's cool if it is, because we can work around that, right? And you can make up some sort of deal. Shouldn't be the end of the agreement, so make that clear. Here's an example of a proposal that we'll go over. And so this looks like when we're creating a proposal here, you guys will get access to all of these. Okay, suggestions, read slides for 5 to 10 minutes and then do a 1 to 2 minute round. Question run, I think we can do that, yeah. So I'll kind of skip through them, not skip through them, but I'll go pretty quickly. So this example of a proposal, I'll just kind of go through. It shows the overview, what they're going to be getting, our goals, and the content creation. So we're going to create them this much amount of content on X aimed at doing this. Videos and graphics if you're going to handle that. Some standard services, so I'll just say, we're going to give you reports. We'll do weekly calls on Monday. We're going to create you the Notion hub where everything's going to be stored, which we'll get into later. I also include what to expect, and so here's how we're going to deliver content on like a weekly basis, right? As well as like here's how we're going to communicate. I think this pretty useless. I don't think anyone reads through this. More just ways of like how we'll operate. We'll do it from this operations hub where we'll store all the documents, content calendar where we can put all the content. We'll get into all that later down the line, as well as like the pricing and some content examples if they ask for that. Shoot, where are we? So yeah, that's pretty much what a proposal looks like, just short form. So, and we'll get into the operations hub again and what that actually looks like for clients. So next part, signing clients. I really, everyone should definitely do a contract with clients, especially if you're not taking upfront payment. I would honestly always take upfront payment though, or at least 50% upfront. Helps it look more professional, so it's going to help you close the deal, and you'll be able to lay out all the terms so that like the expectations are clear on both sides. So yeah, collect payment upfront, or at least 50%, especially if you're working with tiny startups, because you're probably not going to get paid if you don't, and they're going to start ghosting you after, oh, we ran out of money, I'll do it when we raise money. I've had a client, we worked for them 2 months for free. I'm paying the team in those 2 months, and then they just stop and they haven't paid today, and that was like a year ago, right? And so get money up front. Don't let them go a week over their payment schedule, or else you gotta be stern, right? Once everything's locked in, you have to collect all the links, all their team emails, the creative assets, anything else for creating content and integrating them into your system. It's also good to ask, this will save you time, if they've done any research so far. So that would be like audience research. If they've looked at their competitors, content research, it's going to save you time. If not, we have to do that ourselves. So we'll get into audience research next. So the best type of content is relatable, and that's why we're getting into that. As someone that you have to like relate to someone and know them inside and out, and so that's why audience research is going to be super important when we're doing social media management for projects. It's directly going to influence everything else that we're going to be doing for them. And the reason being, like, let's say we're working with a DeFi project, it's going to have a much different tone of voice than a gaming project, right? Back to it, DeFi project, you're going to lock up your money, you're going to walk away for 6 months, and that's pretty much it, right? It's way different than a gaming project where there's culture, there's lore, there's characters, so much for people to like connect with and talk about. Anyway, so what is my niche attracted to the most? So let's take meme coins, for example, right? What content do you constantly see doing well for meme coins? Generally, it's going to be like unhinged stuff, trading memes outside of crypto being pulled into the ecosystem. And yeah, it's important that we search and understand what content the audience is engaging with most. And it can be really random stuff. And, and that's usually what people are too. I don't know if you guys have seen the fat, I can't say the name, the fat N-word coin. and they're like this insane AI content, and it's just like Joe Rogan in the AI video. It's like really, it's high quality stuff and it's hilarious. And that sort of unhinged content, some of you probably know what I'm talking about, just works really well. So what's my audience persona is the other part. And this can be an actual, there's faces behind whatever PFPs you're seeing. And so who are you talking to? And this is taking meme coins for another example. You might be talking to young degens half the time. Where are they from? What are their values? What do they do on a daily basis? Reason why I want to know who we're actually talking to, like the people, is if you guys know culture coins and people that will buy into a movement of like fart coin, for example, right? Like their movement is 9 billion people on the world fart, like, and that's the culture of it. So they're doing a movement based around not like a meme, but like the way people are, right? And there's plenty other coins like that. There's like the morning routine coin, right? And it's like around people that do the stupid morning routine trend. And so stuff like that, right? Like you're talking to people and you can't forget that. What does my audience want? This is maybe less important for memes, but you can still use that as an example if we understand their dreams, right? Meme coins, for example, they want 100x, all right? We don't want to, we want to highlight what they'll get with 100x. And so an example could be like the character, the mascot, driving in a Lambo, or, sitting in a bunch of cash, and content around the dream that they're trying to achieve. So the fourth part, or I guess, yeah, fourth part here, what they want, but then what they also don't have. And so pain cells, this is going to be great for projects where they're missing something, right? That your project is going to solve for them. This is classic marketing for anything. You're going to pretty much go over the pain point that they have, what they're missing, right? And yeah, what you're going to give them, the dream that you're going to give them. So that's what we want to do for audience research. You're going to pretty much create a document, and there's going to be a template for this as well that you guys can use, that I have, pretty much going over these 4 things. Like you're going to create your persona, you're going to look at what they're attracted to the most, what they want, what they don't have. This is really in-depth stuff. You don't have to do this for everyone, but it's good practice to get into, at least for yourself. So number 4 here, competitive research. It's super important, right? And you're never going to be the best marketer and social media manager intern. Someone's always going to be better, but that's cool. And if anything, it's going to make our job easier. And so as a social media manager, you don't have to be mad at people with better content ideas from you. You can actually steal them and craft them into your own content if you do it right. And so competitor research isn't about, looking at the biggest company for social media marketing. It's about looking at which ones are performing the best on X, which ones are performing the best, on social media in terms of like the content quality, the engagement, and the mind sharing culture that they're able to foster. So points that you want to look out for when you're doing competitive research, and what you're going to look in these different companies, right? And so let's say we'll use a meme coin, for example, and we're going to look at the ones that are doing best on social media in terms of like their consistent branding. And so this is the main reason, right, when we're talking about mindshare for projects and creating content which is memorable. So the dream scenario here is we're going to create content, and someone's going to know the project behind it just from seeing that piece of content, because we've used the same character, the same colors, and it's become, it blends in and it's recognized. So that's going to be one thing, and it kind of goes into unique content as well. So, you have their intern that's clinically addicted to X or the crypto market, and they always just pumping out like the best ideas, right? They have the coolest content. If we're next to kind of use that content in our own way, or at least we're taking inspiration from it, we don't have to copy it directly, and you don't want to become a copycat. But if we take inspiration from it, we can get that similar feel for the person that's really good at making content. Next one, which you want to look out for, probably the most important point which people want to build as a social media manager, is that like cult community, right? And that's the projects you see which have like the crazy strong fan bases. And so you see people in the comments, they're rocking their emojis, their colors, they're using the same slogans. It's, you want to study those people, because they found a way to create a movement, is really what we're going for on socials here. Why did my camera get turned off here? Hey guys, if you're waiting in the waiting room, you're just gonna have to wait for the video afterwards, because yeah, guys, we don't want any more of that happening. So final one here, this kind of ties into everything else, but it's organic engagement, right? And so if they're getting like 50 to or 100 to 500 plus people liking and replying to all their posts within crypto, those are really good numbers, and it shows projects have built, you know, really successful foundational community on X, which is super vital. And so you want to gather all these projects on a research page. You want to input their numbers, so like what sort of content they're posting, following and whatnot, if you want to track that. And then you want to grab their top performing content and analyze why it's doing so well. Why is it performing so well? As well as like key points that you notice. And so the way that we want to do this, and I'm not going to pull it up here, but you can get an idea for it, is you're going to grab like 5 to 10 different projects. You're going to grab that are doing all these points really well. You're going to then get all their top performing content, which really stands out and people love. And you're going to pretty much copy all those down on like a mood board. So just like images, screenshots, or with Notion, you can do embedded links. So you can just have a bunch of like the images, and you can just go through this mood board when you're creating content and pretty much get ideas as you go from like these 50 plus posts that you've put together. And so it's going to take some time. You can do this once a month if you want, and you will have ideas and inspiration for that entire month, right? And you'll get up-to-date ideas, what's actually working well right now. Because really, I was chatting with someone before, and they said, you know, social media or courses in Web3 don't work because it's such a fast-moving industry. You can't mark this sort of stuff down. And so this course isn't about, you know, what's working now. It's about how to find out what's working now. And to do that, you have to do your own research. But here's how you should compile it, and here's how you should do it, so that you're actually getting the information that you want to get out of it. So we'll finish up module 2 here. Now open chat for a bit more. We're going to ignore all the bullshit that's probably going to come up, and I'll get to the questions that you guys have. So final part of the onboarding here. This is part of the client management as well, so we'll get into that. But it's going to be your operations hub. And so it's important that we're going to keep everything organized. It looks way more professional, helps us deliver better, and saves us a ton of time. And to do this, we're going to create an operation hub to keep all of our service delivery in one spot. So we can store all of our documents. As you guys see, it'll look somewhat like this. You can have, you know, your overview, your research, your weekly reports, like links to the project, all this sort of stuff. And underneath that, you can fit this all on one page. Is going to be a content calendar. I'll show you guys an example of this after, but you can create a great content calendar here. And with Notion, it has this built right in, where you can pretty much, you know, click on any spot on the month, adding content. You can use color tags. So if you guys see, you can tag it, whether it's been posted, it needs edits. The client can come into Notion and just click on the content for the week. It makes it really easy for you guys to collaborate. As well as like if you just want to take pictures and send it in Telegram, you can do that as well. But for you to manage, it's great to do it here. And so you guys will get a template of how we manage, for example here, right, with the operations hub, where you're keeping all your content, your ideas. Also has templates inside this where you can create, you know, your audience overview. You can do all this stuff inside. You can, you know, hold your monthly reports and whatnot. You guys can get this template with the content calendar, so you can add in the content. You can add what status it is, collaborate with the team on it, add your title. You put all your content down here and just add the image that you'll post with it. And then you can share this with the client as well, right? We'll go into that when we get to the management part, but this is a great way to do social media management. It's going to look really professional for you guys if you share it in this way when you're working. So that's everything, guys, for module 2. We are more than halfway there, I would say. And we'll get into module 3 here, which is going to be the content strategy. And we're going to go over, you know, everything about working with a project, creating content pillars, and this is really what you're going to be posting. So this is a really, really important. We're going to get more into the actual work now that we've gotten past the onboarding and actually getting clients. I'm going to open the chat here quickly, guys. Ignore the bullshit messages you're going to see, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop them. Let's see here. Double down on incentivized budgets, adding the budget suggestions or generic plans. That is before you've successfully convinced your employer. So I usually add the fee that I'm going to charge when I'm, doing social media management. I do the fee that I'm going to add at the bottom of it after I've showed them everything so they understand they're going to get. But you're not doing any paid marketing here. You're not doing KOL marketing. So you don't put a budget for that sort of stuff down, right? So let me go back, guys, because I missed that. So let's pull up what we had before here. So before, I forget where we were. Yeah, we were on comparative research. You guys already saw that. Audience research, you guys heard all that. So you guys will see this afterwards as well. Operations hub, this is what it looks like. So this is what I was showing before. It's pretty much, where we can store all of our documents in one place. So we have, our research documents, our links to the website, content and reports, all that in one place, as well as our content calendar. And Notion has a great content calendar pretty much set up. This is the template you guys are going to get. This is pretty much going to be, where you guys can see all your links. There's also content in here. So if you want to fill it out and follow a specific guideline to help you do your research, as well as the content calendar in here. So I was showing how this works. You can just add posts. Let's say it's going to be a good morning post. It'll show up on this day. You can have, if this is ready for approval, you can fill out your entire week with content, and then your client can come in, check it, all the content, it's approved, it needs edits, here's why, right? And so here, so that's a great way to manage content and a great way to just showcase pretty much all of it to your clients as well. Yeah, sure, we can definitely create a group afterwards and remove all those other people. I think they're all trying to get in right now, but they're not allowed in. So can I use AI to analyze top performing posts and create my own content? Yep, you can. That's also why I was mentioning for if you guys want to make the mood board before. So if you just want to, put a bunch of content down of all the best performing content, what we were chatting about back in the competitive research. So if you guys want to grab all this content here and just create a mood board, that's a really good way as well. Because AI is, if you have a tool that does that, go for it. But usually it's pretty hard to get those sort of tools for projects. Currently working with a project managing their X page. How can I help them increase their engagement? I'm currently replying to big accounts. What do you suggest? We'll get into all that. That's what we're jumping in now, is the actual fulfillment. And how to do that. So, you know what? I'm going to get distracted if I have the chat open. So I'm going to turn it back off for a second here, guys. And then I will open the chat back up afterwards. Man, I'm so bad with this. Okay, where are we? Here we are. Sweet. So I'm going to drop the chat just for a second, guys. We're going to go through another module here, and then can you guys can still see my screen, right? Yeah. Yeah, you guys can. Cool. Let's keep moving in. Where were we last? Yep. So content strategy. This module, we're going to go over everything, content pillars, as well as like key points and strategies to follow. Once we've done, our audience and our competitor research, this is pretty much what we can go ahead and build out, right? So creating content pillars. And so what content pillars are, these are the different styles of posts that we're going to be posting. So for an example, it can be like project announcements. It can be, if we're doing market related memes, engaging questions. And the reason we're doing this, why don't we just post whatever the company's up to? Couple reasons being, product updates are really boring. No one wants to read through them daily. And we need a variety of content to keep things engaging for people. As well as different types of content does different things. And so we were chatting before with your personal brand. Some's going to drive more users, some's going to drive community members, some's going to drive clients if you're doing it for your personal brand. And some follows trends to stay relevant. So we need a mix because crypto is changing fast. We need to pivot, experiment really, and follow different trends so that you're actually staying with the mind share, really. So as a company, X gives us leverage, and so it's not just about likes and views. We need our social presence to do a couple things. And so the social media manager, you're trying to build the project's culture, drive more users to the product, create mind share or attract more users, and then convert those into core community members. So the converting process, that's going to happen when you, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. So we're going to build our company's culture, right? And so that's going to be based on the unique brand-centric content that we're posting, the memes, the slogans, stuff that's unique to whatever we're doing. I'm going to move a little bit quicker now because we're an hour and a half in. There's more to go. We're going to speed up here. Drive more users to the product. So we're going to, we're not going to create, the key difference here is not doing like long threads about what your product is and your ZK roll up. Like no one actually cares. The best ads don't actually look like ads trying to sell something. All right, so we want to show it in an entertaining way. And so this can be short form videos, product related memes, or showcasing, a great way is showcasing how the product actually helps them or people using them, not the product itself, not like a direct ad, right? Other one here is going to be creating mindshare or attracting more users. And so social media, crypto companies, X is the place to be, right? It's where all the attention's happening, at least right now. And so it's going to be creating content all around this. Of course, there's other markets. There's YouTube, Instagram, all of these, but we're not there just yet. Especially as a social media manager, this is just going to be focused. This course that we're going over is focused on X specifically. So it's great to do these types of content that we're doing above, driving users to the product, to the community. The best way that we can go viral is going to be following a trend. And so that's really why you have to be inside the market when you're doing social media management, is you're going to have the highest probability of going viral if you're going where the mind share is. And that's going to be on whatever trends are happening right now. So final point here, converting users into core community members is similar to where we're building our project's culture. And so you'll see, you guys know the Retardio, right? The Retardio people, and they built like this just super good culture from, creating this essence to them, right? And so it can be converting them into your community, like in Telegram or Discord, or it can be building this memorable branding that people like get drawn into and they start posting it themselves. And so the best way to build this is to encourage UGC, user generated content, and that's ultimately going to create a flywheel of more people talking about it for you based on the content you're posting, and then other people see other people posting, and it goes on from there, right? Mimetic branding is the second part here. So right now we talked about content pillars, the different type of content you should be posting. Now we're going to jump into each type of content and why these are really important. So memes are the most powerful content in the space. I think we all know this. They're highly relatable, memorable, they're funny, and people recycle them a lot because they just work great like that. And it's a good way also if you want to show the product without selling it, because you're doing it in a funny way. Presenting the product is the next way to do this. You can do this through memes, but it's vital we present the product in unique ways, at least so we're getting something out of social media, right? So we can create a presence, but if we don't hint at these sort of things, it's not going to convert into more users, more community members. So like I said before, best ads don't look like ads. Don't try to say the best features the product has, right? Try to say, what it does for them, what they get out of it. So graphics are great. Don't do product threads. That's number one thing. Don't do those really long threads. Do visuals, graphics, or videos. Do memes, or produce content from the user's point of view. So great version is like Pump Fun, creating culture around their product, or what the user experiences while they're in the trenches. And actually we go over this down below, what this actually looks like with some examples. But so presenting the product in these unique ways, not directly selling it. It's great for, and then day by day we want to spread it out with these other types of marketing, because we don't want to just sell. People hate getting sold to, right? So we want to entertain them. Copycat marketing, this is what we're chatting about with competitor research and why you do it. To do this properly, you want to look at the best performing content, and you want to, it's the same exact method where we're doing competitor research, right? We're going to research them, analyze their best content, and we're going to get inspiration and create similar content, which is still unique to us and with our branding on it. So outside of content, this trick's also really useful for marketing strategies. Just another tip to throw in there, especially when projects are, first to something. Like let's say when FriendTech did their whole thing first and they took over the timeline. A couple of projects did the Socialfy as well, and they also did really good the first couple ones, and then people got tired. If you guys know the whole AVAX trend with the AVAX pre-sales after Wink did really good, you'll see a ton of tokens that also did super well. Copycat marketing is great for products as long as you're fast. Same for content, and that's why we're using it in this case. Final two pieces here. Yeah, final two pieces here is going to be creating the culture and then also following trends. So X is a news site primarily, and it's going to reward content that's trending. This is anywhere on any social media, but it's the fast way to please the algo. If you have the same keywords and you know what everyone else is talking about is going to get shown to everyone. So it's vital that you stay up with the market at all times, and your content that matches trends is going to 10x your chances of going viral. So there's two ways we can follow this. Within our niche, I'll just quickly, because these really go in depth, but I'll quickly go over it. Within our niche is like, let's say it's just within DeFi, for example. And so it's just like, yeah, content isn't the trend itself, it's the response to whatever trend's happening. And so the trend is like the broader news that's currently going on, right? And so let's use meme coins for an example here. You'll see you look at the top ones, not by market cap, but by social research, social presence, and you want to research what type of content they're creating that's creating so much mind share. And so we don't want to replicate the same sort of content, but how they look, how they're representing their brand, how it made you feel, and how it relates to the industry. And so that's like within the niche. You don't want to copy that exact content when you're following trends, but whatever they're talking about through the content is that trend within the niche. Within the industry, this is going to be like within crypto. And so honestly, these are going to be pretty easy to find. You just go through two things, whatever everyone's talking about on your timeline, and you're looking at what you're seeing the most instead of just mindlessly scrolling. Also being where there's the most capital inflow. And so if you're seeing, you know, at one point it's AVAX, for example, when it was meme coins for a really long time, and now it's, you know, kind of a bit more spread out, it's all over the place, but wherever the money and the attention's going, that's the trend within the industry currently, and that's just within crypto, that's our industry. But that content also does really well, right? So within your niche, it's like meme coins, what's working so good for them, what's everyone talking about. Industry, what's crypto talking about. So those are the two ways that we can follow the trends. So examples of content that follows trends perfectly: the chill guy meme, of course, this took over crypto, especially meme coins, right? And Eclipse created content showcasing what they're building that connected to the trend, right? So it's like they're talking about their product, but you're just a chill guy building Solana on Ethereum, right? So that's an example. Phantom Wallet did a great way of housing their niche, like, you know, meme coins and capturing the degen trends culture perfectly through like this, you know, data Thanksgiving, and then in 2025, you know, it's, you guys can see it. They're doing a great job of following the culture in this one and following the actual trend when just everyone was talking about chill guy. So that's a great way to create content that relates to what everyone's talking about. That content's going to do really well. Number 6 here, and this is creating culture. So you see the most powerful brand movements is through a really strong culture, and they've built a cult by instilling these beliefs and values that people get attached to. And so when we're creating content for a client, that's one thing, but if we can help them build this culture, they're never gonna fire you, right? You did an incredible job. And so it's not built overnight, but it's this this memorable value that you're repeating in all your content, all your graphics, in your slogans, and over time it just gets adopted, right? A project I recommend you guys all look at that does this really well is Final Bossu. They've already done this mint. I created this before their mint, but they did extremely good job at their against all odds slogan and the story behind like the founders of the project, the brothers, building it. And through that, they created this brand with like this really unique and relatable theme, because it's something that a lot of people face in real life. It's like personal development, struggles, and growth. It's all things that like we face in real life that we get attached to, and then pushing past these. And this is the culture that they kind of created, this like uplifting, you know, energy. So if you can create it like these guys, they're absolute geniuses at it. You won't be able to do it overnight, but if you go research how they're doing it, it's a great way to get inspiration to how to actually build that culture. Same with Blubcoin. So I know we all saw this at one point all over the timeline. Completely dead now, no one sees it, but they did an incredible job with this like memorable, branded, relatable content, using scenes of like popular movies. So this was, if you guys have seen this anime, this is the Trump scene. You know, using relatable things that we know, political messages, like whatever's trending as well. And then it just created this, people fell in love with it, like this little blobfish, right? This ugly little cartoon character. And so this is another great version of creating culture around this blob coin. And you know, it's blobillions have always been the goal, you know, just around the mascot, really. Third great example here, Eclipse Foundation. They also did, they're doing really good on social media. It's another good project to go research. And so they're just like, their ethos here is like, put everything on Eclipse. And so they just repeat this on all their content over and over. And that's what you just know them for, you know. And they do it through really funny memes and different content. I know we shared, this is one of the memes from Eclipse as well. This is, you know, they'll just put it everywhere. And so the idea there is they're just building a cult-like community, which is just saying, put Eclipse on everything. And they're just chanting it, and still people start chanting with you, right, is the idea there. So that's everything for content strategy, guys. That's going over, how to pretty much map out the content pillars that you're going to be doing. We went over what these content pillars actually look like, how to follow trends within our niche and industry, some examples, creating culture, all that sort of stuff. Hope you guys got some good stuff out of that. I'm going to pull up, where are we? I'm going to go on and pull up our chat here again, if it'll let me. Yes, it will. Sweet, guys. Chat's open. Any questions, feel free to drop them. Then we'll move on. We have a couple more modules left. These ones are a bit smaller though. Just that left. Just yeah, couple more left, guys. But chat's open. Feel free to ask any questions you want. Can you guys use the chat? Is it open now? Yep, chat should be open. Any questions? Are we good to move forward? How do you deal with inconsistent communication with the client? Yeah, it really depends. Like, you can follow up, but honestly, you're going to get ignored sometimes. It's being really clear with them. So if they are ignoring you, I would just be, you know, is now not the right time, or are you just not interested? Get that out of them, you know, so that you're not going to keep chasing someone that's not interested. Just ask that directly, like, is now not going to work, or depends what stage the deal is in as well, right? But yeah, inconsistent communication. If you're from the start, they're not answering you, they're probably just not interested and they're never going to answer. If you're halfway through the deal and they're suddenly stop answering, could be now's not the right time, and you just want to ask them if that's true. Or if it's like a budget issue, just ask them if that's the case. Be like, you know, it's totally fine if it's too expensive, and if we need to work around that, you know, I'm happy to do what works with you. Can you use trends outside of CT? I think we do see that quite a bit, right? Like the chill guy meme was on TikTok at first, but if the trends in crypto you're gonna see them in crypto as well. So wonderful class, Notion document. Yeah, I'm gonna show what this looks like as well after, how I was planning to go about this. So for sharing the Notion document and all this sort of stuff. In terms of daily posting, like confirming if certain posts are consistent with their expectations and stuff like that. Oh yeah, so for that, we would present them the content calendar, get all the content you've done for the week, and just walk through it with them. If you do like one call with them a week, that would be great for pretty much showcasing them what you're going to be posting, getting their feedback. And you have to make it clear as well, the first month is going to be a discovery stage where they're not going to like some content's not working, you're still experimenting, and you have to make that really clear. That's not going to be perfect from the start. Does it mean memes is the best strategy for an audience? No, it's just a great way to go about it. I think you need a blend of content. It's going to be the best strategy for sure. Never just do one sort of content. Definitely split it up quite a bit. So module 4, management, guys, we're going to continue on here. We're going to cover the client management work environment you create day to day, and it's extremely important. I think it's an overlooked section, which is the key to client retention and delivering a five-star service, which is what we want to do. So there's 3 main things that we want to manage for clients. Obviously our communication with them, the content we're creating with them, as well as the delivery schedule and whatnot. So let's jump into these here. So number 1, client communication. Really good communication is a must, of course. This is with your relationships, with your partner, with your clients, with everyone, right? And so Telegram group works best. If you have a WhatsApp group open as well, somewhere where you're directly getting notified, and you want to good on a Monday or whatever day to have a client call at least once a week. Or if you're working as a team member, you know, you're going to have these probably a couple times a week. And so you're going to catch up. You're going to give up what's happening in the company that you need to talk about, what's coming up, right? So you want to be able to post teasers. You want to be able to, you know, get this sort of information as well. Don't just give updates. As well as share last week's performance. So do performance reports. We're going to jump into what this looks like shortly. And share the content for the following week. So show what happened last week, share what's happening this week, give updates, and then ask for them as well. What's coming up that I should know about? Should take 15 to 20 minutes, help you get all the content approved, and then, yeah, they're going to enjoy working with people with strong communication skills. And so I recommend schedule these with their emails on Google Calendar as a reoccurring meeting, and then no one's going to miss them because you have it just set up in your calendar each time. Next one here is content management. And so content, of course, it's our primary deliverable for managing socials. And so that's the key, you know, when we're going to organize and manage this in a professional way, it's collaborative for both parties. And so Notion's a perfect tool for this. Yep, you'll get the modules after the class. So Notion's a perfect tool for this with the built-in calendar feature. We were talking about this before. Here's an example of like color coding a bit better. And to set this up, by the way, guys, you're just going to do /calendar, and then you just add in the calendar view right here. You can add the status bar, you can set tags like drafting, ready for approval, all that, but you're going to get this in the template, so it'll all be set up for you already. So from here, yeah, you can pretty much showcase everything, what's been scheduled, approved, needs edits, needs graphics. You can create comments with them, set up perfectly for you, right? And for the client, it's a great way to deliver things. For internal work, so when you're working within a team and you want everyone to be invited into the client hub, or if you're working like with the client's team and you're inside their team, you can share content outside of Notion using a link. So you just click share. You'll be able to, so you can just share right here. You can copy it and invite people, or you can also create a link. So you can just do share, copy link, as well as publish, and you can publish it as a website. And when you're doing this, if the client doesn't want to come into Notion, you can send them a web link to the content as well, or you can just take a screenshot and send it in Telegram groups. So just take a screenshot of this, the schedule, the date, the copy for whatever you're going to post, as well as the image for it. So that's the best 3 ways to share content directly off Notion if you're going to use this calendar, which I recommend. Engagement. We don't want to deliver engagement like content because this is like the replies you're doing, you know, 30, 40, 50 a day. Train up your reply guys, or train yourself and begin doing your engagement. First couple days, maybe just ask them to double check the replies and give you feedback to ensure that they're going properly. But these are something people aren't going to check at all after you've gotten good at them, because it's not like content where it's one main one a day. It's like under other people's posts. So yeah. Third piece here that we're going to deliver, final piece here, is the performance reports. So this is, of course, clients love tracking and analytics and performance and seeing what you're doing for them, so they know they're actually getting a good service. But it's also good for us to do it because we see what's working and what's not. We can continue doing what's working better and doing it more, and we can experiment with new things instead of whatever's not working. So we're split into 2 different sections: the month-to-month analytics and comparing them, as well as like the breakdowns of what's working well and what's different, and weekly reports as well. So as an example for the monthly reports, you can see, you know, track each month, all the data for it, and so you can show this to them. You can show them the growth, as well as something like this where you're going to show what worked best that month, So show the top 3 performing tweets, do what's been done, different things that you've been doing, as well as what you're going to be doing for next month, what they're going to be getting if they continue with you. So that's everything for management. Hope that's pretty clear. It's a shorter one. It's pretty much going over communication, how you're going to deliver content, how you're going to do reports, all that. Module 5 here, guys. Can you guys chat, by the way? Can someone confirm with me the chat's working? Bro, this is the roadmap. It's the sauce. It's exactly what you guys should need. You implement this, do it over a long time. I hope you guys have no issues. Yeah, doing a really good job. Module 5, guys, we are on the last module here, and it's a short one. It's just engagement, right? And when managing socials, we need to do more than just content. So we need to engage with our community as well as other projects and KOLs on X, because it's going to be really powerful for increasing our engagement and reach. So, and everyone nowadays expects engagement for projects. Main one, and you don't have to do, so when people think engagement, they think, and someone chatted about this before, going under different people on X, commenting under KOLs and stuff, and commenting about the project under that. You can do that, and that's something that we're going to cover. It's good, you should do it. The one thing you can't skip out on is community engagement, and some projects do. So if someone's engaging with the project, they're commenting under a post, it's super important that we reply back. It's going to give them a boost, and they're going to keep coming back to engage, because they're going to, community engagement is like replying to anyone that engages with the project post. They feel good when the project replies to them. They want to reply more. What's the difference between SMM and KOLs? Social media management and influencers. So it's 2 completely separate different things. Next one's reply guy. What's the relationship? Can you expand on that? Yeah, guys, I'm going to finish this up, and then we're going to get to question time and wrap this one up. So reply guy engagement, this has grown in popularity, right? We were chatting with this before, and people advise to do replies that are like based on giving value or giving your personal take on a subject. It's great, but only for personal brands. And so from the company perspective, it's important that we entertain and do like unhinged comments, visual memes, and like all the work extremely well for capturing attention. So a couple different ways to do this. Create an engagement list. So you can do, list of projects within your ecosystem. You can do KOLs within the ecosystem. And if you can, community members that are repping your NFT, people that you want to support as well. So get like 30 to 50 people on here and engage with them early. If it's within like the first 4 hours after they go out, the engagement is going to get a lot of reach. If not, probably leave it. They have little effect. So yeah, really good too. And some examples of incredible replies here, right? And so you can see this is something of like Trump, right? And Moo the Bull posts like a Trump graphic with their and these are the 2 that I'm talking about right here. Trends bring the most engagement when it comes to replies by far, right? Especially within crypto, because we're such a small niche. And so what you see in example 1 here is Ponke for the CZ. This one, CZ got out of jail. It was his good morning post. And Ponke was like planning this, right? And so they pretty much did this video of like Ponke letting CZ out of jail, right? Sick video. Super cool. They planned it. And this reply did really well, right? It's a reply with like over 1,000 likes, which is insane for crypto. And so it's genius because they pretty much planned this reply ahead of time. Obviously, this is an extreme example. Don't create an animation for every post, but it's a great one if you like know something's happening and you can catch that trend on time. So I'm trying to show the best examples here. An easier example, and with AI now, ChatGPT can create images so fast. You can create content like this, like graphics, cartoons, that fit, let's say, Trump's doing something like this. They created a graphic pretty similar with their branding. And so it's putting your branding in an entertaining, relatable way underneath the content. It can also just be typing. You don't need to put graphics. Graphics help. So if you can, do that. But honestly, this sort of stuff works great. And look under these sort of accounts and look at the way they do engagement, and you'll get a good idea for great ways to kind of showcase the brand like that. But yeah, that's pretty much trend engagement, how that works. That's the end. Guys, thank you so much for joining the masterclass. I'm sorry for all